misdemeanor site.
10-4-12. Welcome to Law and Order BUX. I'm your host, Bucks County Sheriff Fred Harran. Every corner of Bucks County has a story to tell. Sometimes a story of resilience. Sometimes a story that chills us to the bone. Sometimes a story of government not being able to get out of its own way. Here, the forces of law and order are constantly at work, often behind the scenes. Join us as we delve into the gripping realities of crime and justice in our community. We'll explore the hidden worlds, the difficult decisions, and the unwavering commitment it takes to maintain law and order right here in Bucks County. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode 8. Here we go. I just can't believe these episodes keep rolling along of Law and Order BUX, BUX. And I'm your host, Sheriff Fred Harran, here in Bucks County. And today I'm very excited about this episode because I had some personal involvement with what we're going to be talking about when I was a chief in Ben Salem. But more importantly, folks, those that are our listeners, this episode needs to be shared with every parent out there, with anybody who has children. And it doesn't even have to be children. Young adults, older adults, people are victims of what we're going to talk about today. And it's unfortunate that we are talking about that. And that's the topic of sextortion. And we're going to talk about exactly what that is and how Bucks County played a pivotal key role in getting the laws changed. And it was really due to one family here in Bucks County that suffered an unbelievable, agonizing loss of a young lady, a young girl that killed herself because she was sextorted. And we're going to talk about that case a little bit, but we're going to talk about the law. And really, we're going to concentrate on the efforts, that are going on right now in Bucks County to save people's lives. And with me today, and it's not me doing it, I found these two guys, and they are true unsung heroes in my mind with the work that they're doing. With us, we have Eddie Worth, who worked for the FBI back in the 70s, and I'm going to let Eddie talk about himself a little bit, give us a little history on Eddie Worth, and he is now president of the Safe Surfin Foundation. And also with us is Graeme Page. And Graeme is, I think I'll say genius. Graeme might not like that term, but he probably will shy away from that term. But just a genius in his development and his team and what they have come up with really to save lives and to save heartbreak and misery and everything else involving sextortion. And we're going to get into that in a minute. And, we're going to start off with Eddie Worth. And then I'm going to talk to you about how I met Graeme and how I got involved with what they're talking about today. But sextortion, basically, and a lot of you hear the term, but I still don't get it, how people share pictures of themselves. And I'm not talking about, birthday pictures. I'm talking about pictures that shouldn't have been shared of people that are, naked or in compromising positions. They share them with a boyfriend at the time or a girlfriend at the time or whatever. And then that relationship doesn't work out or whatever. That picture is then sent to other people for one reason or another. And at some point, you're sextorted at some time where somebody says, basically, and I'm going to just dial it down so that, me and everybody else understands it. They say, if you don't give me such and such, or you don't do such and such, I'm sharing this photo of you on the internet and you're going to be humiliated, or I'm going to send this to all your friends and send them this picture and humiliate you. And if you don't pay me such and such a dollars or do such and such a thing. And prior to July 11th of 2022, it was a misdemeanor in Pennsylvania. But thanks to our team here in Bucks County and thanks to the Pacone family and Lindsay, God rest her soul, but the Pacone family that really was instrumental, and our own state representative here in Bucks County, Casey Tomlinson, who led this way, and our district attorney, Jen Shorn, led this way into Lindsay's Law, and that has changed it now to a felony. Not that saves lives, but that certainly creates the punishment a little bit more in line with the crime, and not being a misdemeanor, a more minor penalty, but now a felony that you could get some significant jail time. But that's not what we want to talk about. I don't want to concentrate on the penalties, because then it's too late. When we're locking someone up, it's too late. You know me, I'm about preventing victims. That's what my whole 39 years is about. And I want to introduce who I now consider a friend of mine, Eddie Worth, the president of Safe Surfin Foundation, and Graeme Page. These men are out there, and their organizations are out there preventing sextortion, getting it before somebody can extort you with it. So, Eddie, can you give us a little intro on you and tell us about Safe Surfin Foundation and the work you're doing? Because I think it's amazing stuff, Eddie.
Sure, Sheriff. Thank you so much for having us on your program here, because this is a very, very important topic for us to get out. I started off back, as the sheriff said, back in the late 70s in law enforcement, and throughout the years. And I hate to say that, Sheriff, because it's telling how old I am here, but I've been dealing with law enforcement now for
you got that you got that heavy New York accent, Eddie.
Oh, I'm sure I do.
Go ahead.
So I teamed up with Sheriff Mike Brown out of Bedford County. I got involved in it around in the early 2000s, but Sheriff Brown had created a foundation that he named Safe Surfin, and it's SURFIN. It's not like going out on the ocean and surfing, but surfing the web, because he realized that back in 1998 that home computers were just starting to be popular, and kids were getting on it, and all of a sudden parents started calling the sheriff's office going, "Hey, my child is talking to someone. We don't know who it is. There's some inappropriate conversation going on. They are wanting my child to do this or give them this type of information. That's just extremely inappropriate. What do we do about it?" Well, the sheriff actually didn't quite know what to do about it at that time either, because it was just brand new. And around 1998, the Department of Justice created the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Those guys and girls were brought on to help make the arrest, identify these predators, and if they were out of line, go arrest them. But there needed to be an educational format, and that's what we were missing, and that's what Sheriff Brown realized, and that's why he created the foundation. So over the years, we've gone out and working with ICAC, being trained by them and others, National Center for Missing Exploited Children, different organizations.
Eddie, tell people what ICAC is. It's not many of our listeners are not law enforcement.
Oh, Internet Crimes Against Children. It's task force. Again, it was created by the Department of Justice back in 1998, and they to make a long story short, they've got about 61 task forces now throughout the United States, where men and women are sitting behind the computers talking to these predators. So that's who they are. And with the National Center for Missing Exploited Children, we partner with National White Collar Crime Center, and they are educating us so we can go out and educate children and parents on how to surf the web safely. Okay. So over the years, when I would go out and I traveled this country, I've hit almost every state, I think, talking to kids and parents, whether it be in auditoriums, assemblies, church groups, whatever. I came to realize back about 7 or 8 years ago that the kids just weren't listening to an adult come in and talk about the problem as we wanted them to. So I came back to the office from one trip to the sheriff's office and explained that. We're a 501c3. We don't have a whole lot of money, and what money we do have, we're spending it on me going out talking, and I didn't feel like we were getting a result. I said, these kids just aren't listening to me. So one of the ladies in the sheriff's office said, well, I've got 2 girls, and they don't listen to me either, but they listen to each other. Well, the light bulb kind of went off in all of us at the same time, going, well, we need to put together a program where we can educate the older kids in high school to put programs together to go out and present to the younger kids. And that's what we did. We worked with the National White Collar Crime Center to develop a program that we named Team Cyber SWAT, where kids can actually put together a club in their school. Well, and go out and put these programs together. Now, keep in mind, different issues are happening at different schools. Some might be sextortion, some could be cyberbullying and so on, or human trafficking or so on. So we developed about 6 different programs from the kids to pick from if it was happening in their school. And we gave them lesson plans that we had developed for them to put together their own spin on the problem. So we got this out in schools across the United States in 2018. Well, then 2019 rolled around and COVID hit. Bad guys went home from work. The kids went home from school. It was the perfect storm for these predators to continue to contact our children. And the rate alarmingly went up over 300% of calls coming into the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And we were stuck. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't travel. We couldn't go out. Well, finally, we got through COVID, and once we got back in the saddle, if you will, we realized that technology had grown during that time to a point that the program we were putting out was getting antiquated. So because of AI in particular, so that's when we partnered with Graeme and his team to work on a program that Graeme will be talking to you about in a minute, allowing kids to go online and teachers to go online and actually teach a peer-to-peer AI program to the kids. And we're going to be rolling our first state out, which is going to be West Virginia, to 240,000 kids this coming August. We're going to start at August 18th. We are very, very excited about that. And that's the program that when we met you at the National Sheriff's Association, that's the program we were talking about. And I'm sure Graeme will be able to talk more to that.
Yeah, and we're going to hear from Graeme in a few minutes, but it really is amazing. And, people, we have not, as you well know, Eddie, you just touched on it, we have not even begun to see the effects of COVID. I know the teachers in school districts are 83% of the reporting for child abuse, whether it's physical or sexual abuse, because they're mandated reporters and they're with the kids all the time. And they see the things and they pick up. And obviously for COVID, the COVID years, kids weren't in school. So what do you think? What do people think? That sexual assault and abuse for children just stopped? Now they were home with the abusers or babysitters or family members or steps or, mom's boyfriends or whatever it might be. But that reporting went down. But that's a topic probably for another day. But, Eddie, we know, the story is, I was in DC. Graeme, you guys were a presentation I had to go listen to, and I actually moved my train back because I really didn't want to miss this presentation. I had no idea what it was going to be about, and I've heard presentations before, and then when I heard you guys, it was a wow moment for me, and I said, this can't be true. This can't be real. That what Graeme and you and Safe Surfing is proposing, this is truly incredible. And we're going to talk to Graeme now, about, my going up to him and bringing you guys here to Bucks County. And I thought Virginia was going to be the second state. I'm hoping Pennsylvania is now the second. If we could pass Virginia, I know we can't pass West Virginia. They're done deal, rolling it out in another month. but it's okay. We don't have to be first all the time. We just have to get it done and do it. A very wise man once told me, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago and today. So we missed it 20 years ago, but we're at the today. So those are the two best times to plant a tree. And this program that you guys came up with and Graeme is just unbelievable. So, we're going to join Graeme now and just get into what he has to offer. Eddie, I appreciate it. Your insight and how you guys got started with this and Safe Surfing. What a great project, and truly will be saving lives and a lot of people hardship. So Eddie, thanks very much for joining us. And as we shoot over to Graeme.
Well, thank you very much, Sheriff, and we certainly appreciate it. And you guys are going to be our next opportunity to get to the kids in Pennsylvania, and we're so excited about that. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Eddie. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then we'll just ease into Graeme, so no one will know that it was two separate. Eddie, you like timed this perfectly, man. It was perfect.
Good. I'm hoping I hope it didn't mess it up too bad.
No, you were fantastic. And then we were actually talking. You're going to cut, yeah. Right. So we were actually talking. We've got to get this moving again here. The legislation is they can't even get a budget done, and they're constitutionally bound to do it by June 30th, and that ain't going to happen. So they're extremely slow moving. But this is definitely, it's on my board right here. I look at it every day. Safe Surfing. I'm staring at it right now on my whiteboard of things to do, and I cross stuff off. Unfortunately, a lot of things don't get crossed off so quickly.
Well, I know. At least it's on the board.
It's on the board. It's on the board. So I appreciate it, Eddie. Thank you so much. God bless you, and stay cool in Virginia.
Thank you, and look forward to talking to you again really soon to
Very
start
soon.
this thing moving.
Absolutely. So now we're joined by my friend who I just met a couple months back, maybe about 5-6 months ago, Graeme Page. And Graeme is just amazing when you hear from him. He's just the stuff he has come up with, and his story, I just think, is extremely telling and so important to get that out there, because not everybody, but a lot of people, unfortunately, are experiencing the same hardship that Graeme had went through. So it was back, I guess, January or February, the end of January, February of 2025. I was at the midwinter for the National Sheriff's Association in Washington, D.C. And I had a train to get back to BUX from D.C. And the last presentation was titled Sextortion, Internet and Sextortion, which, I've been interested in since the Lindsay Picone story, and we passing legislation here with Casey Tomlinson, Representative Tomlinson. So I'm like, you know what? I moved my train back and my tickets back, and I went in, I sat down, and then Graeme started to talk, and I said to myself, this cannot be real. What this guy is doing is not possible. Where has he been? Why doesn't every state sign up immediately? The lives that are going to be saved by what Graeme is doing is, again, in my almost 40 years of law enforcement, I can count on two hands the game changers that I've experienced. And Graeme is certainly one of those game changers. Graeme, you remember when I came up to you after that, and I just was blown away by your presentation.
That's
and
right, I remember.
I don't get blown away by a lot of presentations, but your presentation blew me away. Graeme, tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Sure. Well, hi. Thanks so much for having me. So I guess it really starts with my background. I grew up on social media. I had the rare opportunity to start my own business when I was 11 years old, which began as a meme page that I created on Twitter, which was an account posting relatable content for teenagers. And I grew that account to 4.5 million followers. And without, planning on it, I was turning it into a business when Disney approached me for a brand deal. And then I was working with Warner Brothers and Fashion Nova and Hinge and some other major brands. So I really, had that early experience. But then when I was 17 years old, my girlfriend, Nicole, was a victim of sextortion on Instagram by a predator, and she took her own life. And losing Nicole is really
Unbelievable.
what changed my life course and had me motivated to create something that would protect kids from similar outcomes. And that's what led to founding Skyll, which is my company that I created a few years ago. And Skyll, spelled Skyll, is dedicated to education and safety. We teach kids the life online skills through technology they love. And we protect them through innovative AI software that's working with law enforcement to really make a difference.
Unbelievable. And when I heard your story and being in law enforcement for 39 years now, I've heard that over and over and over again. But here you are, a young man, and you took this tragedy and made it into something that is literally, there's no doubt, is going to continue to save more lives, hardship and trauma, both physical and mental trauma, emotional trauma for a lot of kids and a lot of young people out there. Tell us what you came up with, and then I know you've been working with our legislators here in Pennsylvania. Me, Graeme, I would have liked to have been the first, but that's not going to be possible. Is it Virginia or West Virginia? I keep getting
West Virginia.
West Virginia is launching it in August, another month or so.
That's right.
And I'm told Virginia probably is going to be number 2. If Pennsylvania can't be number 2, at least we're going to be number 3. We're going to be in the top 5. Tell us what exactly you came up with and what you're launching.
Well, we were very fortunate to team up with the Safe Surfin Foundation, which Eddie's president of, and Safe Surfin has been working with. It's run and founded by law enforcement, and they're working hand in hand with law enforcement to protect kids and educate them about online safety. And together with them and their connections, we were able to pass a bill in West Virginia that made internet safety education mandatory in schools. And then we worked closely with the Department of Education to create a program that would fit all their specifications and needs. And that's how we conceived Deputy. So Deputy is the first ever 911 for the internet that kids can use to report online crimes and get immediate help, and also to use as a support buddy when they want advice on online safety and best practices. Deputy is an AI chatbot that takes the form of chatting with a peer. So kids see an influencer or sort of a twin that resembles someone their own age, someone relatable, someone easy to talk to, and they can have a face-to-face or voice conversation with that AI and explain a situation that's occurring. So they can say, that they're either, something more minor, like they're feeling unsafe online, or something major, like they're being sextorted or attacked by a predator. And it's trained to be able to handle those situations. So we're able to integrate software where every conversation they have is automatically submitted to investigation to the ICAC task forces, because their conversations are converted into cyber tip reports. And we integrate a tool called Take It Down, which is now federally protected under the Take It Down Act, which Trump just signed into law. And the Take It Down tool allows kids to remove content that is explicit imagery of them online that is being used without their consent within 48 hours or less. So they can upload the photo, have a hash value created. That hash value is distributed to the platforms. The platforms are now legally obligated to act within 48 hours, and that photo can be blocked from being shared, spread, or seen ever again, which really stops extortion.
So and let's break it down, because Graeme, you know me, I'm not a techie guy. So I'm going to make it simple for me to understand, and maybe for our listeners. So if somebody, which no one should do, let's make this crystal clear, folks. Do not take pictures of yourselves. I don't care how much your boyfriend or your girlfriend says they love you. They're going to marry you. They're going to grow old with you. Do not send pictures on the internet of anything you wouldn't want on the front page of a newspaper or on the 6 o'clock news. So before we even go how to clean it up, don't do it. It's so much easier not to do it. But so let's just say, we didn't listen to that advice, and somebody uploads and sends a photo of themselves to their friend, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, and then a month or so go by, and of course, and you're no longer, involved with that person, or they've shared it with somebody else. Hey, look at my girlfriend, look at my boyfriend. And then that person says, I'm going to make a couple bucks with this. And then they threaten you. If you don't do A, I'm going to spread your pictures. Or if you don't pay me so much, I'm going to spread your pictures all over. That, as we already defined it with Eddie, is sextortion, which is now an enhanced crime here in Pennsylvania, thanks to Representative Casey Tomlinson. In comes you, and your software now will send a hashtag or electronic messaging to lock that picture down, correct?
That's right. We're going to be able to prevent photos from being seen, shared, or spread. So if that photo is found matching on any platform in the US, that photo is flagged as restricted content that can't be viewed or spread further.
So it's in 2025, it's a fingerprint of the photograph. We're not sending photos all over the place to say, hey, somebody try to find this photo. It's a fingerprint of that actual photo. It finds it. It's whatever technology it is, and it just locks that picture down. I mean, it's that simple, right? Right, Graeme?
That's right.
Well, this is amazing stuff. And, Graeme, the work that you've done, and I told you, I sat in this presentation, and by the way, I don't know if I ever told you this, I actually got to Union Station, had to run for my train because I stayed behind to ask you a question. And it wasn't hot out. That's right. It was winter time, but I had to talk to you, and I had to exchange information with you because I knew you and I and Eddie were going to join forces again. And I like doing new stuff, and this sextortion is a real issue. Again, my little tidbit in commercial is no one should be sending a photo. And there's also people that think there might be a photo out there. As such, in the case of, I think, Lindsay, I don't think there ever was a photo, but she wasn't sure. And listen, I'm 61. I'm not 21 or 18. So I don't know what's going through a young person's head. I get it. You guys have grown up on the internet. My first video game was Pong. And then I was able to get Super Pong, which went from 3 games to 4 games. Stop laughing at me, Graeme. So that was my technology back in the days. And my first cell phone was a bag phone where you had to carry it around your shoulder, and it was pretty huge, but it was cool. But now we've come a long way. Technology is great, but it's also our enemy. Graeme, I can't wait. I know we have representatives that are going to work to launch this, and everybody's met with you, and we're just getting this stuff. We've got so much stuff here. Our group here in Bucks County is so good and so progressive, and I use that word, the proper progressive, not what DC has killed that word progressive, but in a good way. Graeme, I hope you realize you're a lifesaver. I told you, I meet a lot of people, and you are definitely a game changer. You and the deputy, you're going to save a lot of kids' lives when we roll this out here in Bucks County. And I'm proud, at least I can say that Bucks will be the first in Pennsylvania to roll this out. Graeme, any more passing words or thoughts you have before? I know you're very busy. It's very hard to lock you in. 11 years old, your first company, working for Disney. You're amazing, but I want to give you some words here, Graeme.
Sure. Well, I think it's just, it's really been a very rewarding journey, and I'm so proud of all the progress we've made and how far we've come. I really couldn't have done it alone. I have such an amazing team. I'm so blessed to have the people around me that are helping me make this all possible. And I'm really grateful for everyone's support, all of the, congressmen and senators and sheriffs that have really helped us make this movement come to life. So I'm really grateful for the support around me and people who have realized my mission and helped me make it possible.
Well, Graeme, I appreciate you taking the time out of your crazy, crazy schedule to get you on today, you and Eddie. I want to thank you both, Graeme Page and Eddie Worth, coming on, saving kids' lives, making a difference. We've got to keep up with this technology. Graeme, I will be talking to you soon as we're getting a test pilot location here. And I know the senator and the state reps are working on some legislation. So I'm very excited for that. I just got to fly in Pennsylvania. This is a no-brainer. I know the school's getting another mandatory thing to do. I guess that's tough. That's tough, but this
It's
is
worth it.
yeah. I mean, this is real life stuff. Not saying all the other stuff that's in school, but I remember when I was in school, they taught the metric system. Oh, you're going to be using it in a couple of years, and the only people that use the metric system are drug dealers. So we're still not using the metric system to the degree that they thought when I was in grammar school. So Paige, Graeme, thank you so much for coming out, and I will be talking to you soon, my friend. Have a happy and safe 4th of July. In you in California right now still?
I am, yes.
All right.
And my parents are coming out to visit later today. So
Fantastic. Well, safe journey to your parents. God bless you, Graeme, for all your hard work, my friend, and have a great 4th. And I will talk to you very soon.
thanks so much. Thanks for having me, Sheriff.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
So that was Eddie Worth and Graeme Page joining us talking about sextortion. Folks, you're going to see a lot more, and you're going to hear a lot more about that in Bucks County. So, I wanted to thank you. This is episode 8, but last episode I ended with a little bit more of my journey through my adoption procedure, and I think I left you with my sister, who I spent my life with, convincing me to file to New York for my birth certificate, because New York has open records right now. I don't know if they closed it, but they did about 4 or 5 months ago. So I did. And I think I paid $55, $60 to New York, and they said you'll get your birth certificate in 4 to 6 weeks, which in government means 4 to 6 months. But you know what? The Big Apple delivered to the core, and I got my birth certificate within that 4 to 6 week period. I could tell what it was when it came in the mail, and I waited for my wife to get home, and we opened it. And there was my mother's name, and there was my name, my original name, which was not Fred Harran. It was a different name. We'll tell you a little bit more about that later, but I knew I was born in Glen Falls, New York, because that was what all my regular birth certificate for my adopted parents. But my mother lived at the time, she was staying during her pregnancy in Lake George, New York, which is only about 20 minutes from the Glen Falls Hospital, if not less than that. So things started to make sense. So I went back to Ancestry, to the messaging component, and remember Danielle, the young lady I found that came as close as anybody ever has. And I texted her, messaged her on Ancestry, and she said to me, when I gave her the woman's name, she said, "That's my grandmother." So Danielle is my niece. And I just was amazed. And things started to fall into play. Danielle's mother, who would have been my sister, was killed in a homicide in New York City some years before that. And after that homicide, the family all went different ways and moved to different parts of the country. So my sister, her name was Jennifer, was killed in a homicide in New York City. The guy went to trial and got sentenced to murder. And I think he got 2nd degree or 3rd degree homicide. And then she put me in touch with my other sister, her aunt, my sister's sister, my sister. Her name, Lisa, that's my wife's name. So that's easy. And we started communicating, and she said, "Yeah, Mom's alive. She lives with me in Las Vegas." And it starts to, like, 61 years later, I have a mother. My mother died. My adoptive mother is my mother, all I knew. Died in 1986, 6 months after I graduated college. My mother died, and obviously I didn't know I was adopted back then. So now all of a sudden I have a mother that's alive in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I hadn't been to Vegas in forever. I was there, another story, but I was there maybe 45 years ago. I think I was 15 or 14. Vegas was a different town. So my mother is not really in the condition to travel. So I knew if I want to see this woman, I've got to get on a plane and go to Vegas. So my wife and I, we talk about it and we decide, let's go to Vegas. And we made arrangements and we went to Vegas. More to come. More to come on my name that was given to me at birth. More to come on how long I was in the hospital back in 1964 and how the adoption went and what the procedures were and who made the connection between these two families. And more to come on my visit with my mother. And my wife says that she thought that traits were learned, but they are genetic, my friends. Because when you hear about my mom, you're going to like, okay, that's Fred Harran. More about our boarding of the plane and going to Las Vegas, and not for the reasons most people go to Vegas. Going to Vegas to meet my birth mother. And Kenny Chesney was playing too, but that's another story. Until next time, for episode 9 coming up, we had a great episode with Graeme and Eddie, 2 men doing amazing work with a great team, and more about my trip to Las Vegas to meet my birth mother. Until then, God bless everyone, and God bless this great nation of ours. Thank you for joining us as we explore another aspect of law enforcement in Bucks County. To stay up to date on future episodes and gain further insight into the work we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about the Bucks County Sheriff's Office and the services we provide, please visit our website and be sure to download the official Bucks County Sheriff's Office app, available on Google Play and in the App Store. Join us next time for another in-depth look at law and order right here in Bucks County.